I have had the privilege to speak at ATP conference last couple of years, so you might see, if you joined my session, you might see some overlapping content, but I assure you that we have some updated content from recent studies as well. Just to give you a little bit of background about Blees.ai, we started our company 5 years ago in Toronto and recently moved to UK, London. And my background, it's coming out of really my passion. So I was in assessment and evaluation for last 12 years. And before I started this company, I was at CPA Canada, which is an accounting certification body in Canada. And my role there was to develop exams and facilitate markers training for the essay grading and design coursework for students. And I met my co-founder. He used to work for IBM Watson at the AI division. So he used to manage the engineers and data scientists. So combining these two expertise, we created a team of educators and engineers to create this AI platform that automatically grades students' essays. So we specialize in domain-specific essays. So we don't do language exams, we only do the domain-specific essays like accounting or finance or law or etc. So I believe most of you are in assessment or evaluation, and we all recognize that essays are a great way to assess students' higher order thinking skills or critical thinking skills, and it allows students to apply their knowledge in complex case situations as opposed to multiple choice questions. The essays are great, but they also comes with challenges. So it's expensive to mark if it's manually marked. So for example, one of our clients, they process about 350,000 scripts per year to grade their examinations and assess the homework assignments. And then these are marked by certified accountants, therefore it's really expensive for them every year, you can imagine. And usually it's a slow process under tight timeline. Our clients are working in a very short time period, and they have to hire the markers and then train the markers and then have them marked and report the results back to the students. So that's very, you can feel that pressure in the very short time period. And then the last part is actually what our client most care about. So that's ensuring the personalized feedback to the students and then consistent marking. So the quality of feedback is quite important for our clients. So our solution is to provide an AI platform that automatically grades students' essays. And we train and build AI model and grade at scale and provide personalized feedback. And the benefits are, it's consistent in marking. I can share some of our client cases, how AI performed against human markers in the later slides. And then it's 38 times faster than human marking. So usually human markers will take about 5 to 6 minutes per script of the length of about 3 to 5 pages of student essays, but AI can mark in 12 seconds we measured. And it's up to 60% cost saving opportunities. So how it works in a nutshell, it's a 4-stage we can explain at a very high level. So first, data preparation, then data annotation, data training, and data prediction. And at the data preparation, sometimes we need to convert the files into machine readable format. So we process Excel, Word document, and PDF, but sometimes clients give us scanned copy of students' writing, and then we will need to convert that into machine-readable format, and then we upload that to our platform. And then we have subject matter experts annotate students' script on our platform, and this is to show how the correct answers would look like to AI. So I can show you in a minute how it works on Blees.ai platform, and subject matter experts can annotate them to show the AI the correct answers. And then we build the AI model, and then we build business logic. Here, when I say business logic, is kind of scoring logic. So every clients have the way they report to the students. Some they have numerical based, so 80%, 70% mark, or letter based. So it can be A plus or A minus, etc. Some others use different letters as well. So we create that logic for per client. And then once that's done, and we have the AI model to go and do the live marking, then we run through the simulation, and then it goes, we automatically mark the students' essays. So that's how it works. And then I can show you how it works on our platform. And this is a little bit old video, so we have a little bit of update, but in a nutshell, this is how it works.
In the training module, you teach the AI to recognize good students' responses. In the upload files section, you can upload students' responses for training the AI. In the create labels section, you replicate your marking scheme. Here, we assess students on 5 categories. You can be granular and add specific keys you want to assess students on. In the annotate files section, you mark the student responses that you uploaded. Here, the educator clicked the first sentence written by the student and then clicked the key code over deltas. This process shows the AI that this sentence is a good example for this concept. In the AI model section, the system builds custom AI models for you based on your training data. In the AI simulation section, you can run AI prediction on newly uploaded students' responses. Here is the result you get once the AI prediction is completed. Every sentence was highlighted by the AI and associated to a key and a confidence level. In this case, the AI is 100% confident that this sentence is about this concept. Finally, we have modules that translate sentences validated by the AI into marks, personalized feedback, and student report. In this example, the AI automatically populated the marks as well as the personalized feedback.
So that's how it works on our platform. So let me share some of the client cases that we have done the project with. So one of our clients is accounting certification body in Canada, and then they gave us one of their weekly assignment case, and it's a 60-minute case with 6 assessment opportunities. And it was a non-directed question, so candidates would answer in random orders. So they can answer one of the testing topic first, and then the other, and etc. And then the candidate submitted about 3 to 5 pages responses. So we took this approach. First, we trained the AI with 380 scripts, directly annotating the scripts on our platform. And then we tested AI with 200 papers, and then we validated the AI's performance with 200 papers. And then we automated the personalized commentary feedback like we showed in the video. And we completed the audit with the independent senior markers of our client. So our client hired that senior marker and then look at any difference between human markers and AI results and arbitrated the difference. So that's what we did, and then I can share the results. That probably is the most interesting part. So in the beginning, when we compare the AI results to the human results, it was only 62.5% agreement. So that was way below than what our client was expecting. Our client wanted to have at least 80% or above consistency with the human markers. Then the senior marker went and arbitrate the results, and we identified that 70.2% of the time, actually AI was correct over the human markers. So meaning that we had the win-loss ratio, and AI was correct over the human markers. And then we, at the end, we recalculated, and AI's accuracy was 88.7%, meaning that AI agreed with senior markers results 88.7% of the time. So that was above our client's expectations. So I also like to share that where this 80% threshold came from, it is coming from the actual real life methodology. So when the client hires a junior marker, junior markers will go through the markers training, and then after that they will do the test writing. So they will mark the paper, and then when they are at the test marking, they will be compared with the senior markers results. And when they are 80% or above, then they can go live and mark. So that's why there was an 80% expected goal from our client to us. So that's the results. And then we also have another client. This client is a finance certification institute in the US. This client gave us 12 directed vignettes. So it's a half page long case and then 12 separate case exams. And then it's a live exam, but it's a past exam that they gave us. And then it's 1 or 2 sub-questions underneath each vignette. And the candidates would answer very directly and concisely in 1 or 2 paragraphs. So we took the same approach. So we used AI, we used 200 to 400 scripts to train the AI. And then on average, we used 240 scripts. And then we tested AI with 100 to 200 papers. This client did not have enough training data, so we didn't have the validation set to validate the AI's performance. And then the client audit set, they gave us the audit set about 90 to 500 script, fresh papers that were never been part of the test set or training set. And they didn't give us human mark in the upfront. So we run the simulation, and then we gave them AI results, and then they sent us back the human marking results, and then we send the comparison report to them so that they can see the arbitration and they can do the arbitration. So the results I'd like to share, this is a bit busy slide. It's a 12 vignettes, so you can see like it's a vignette number, and this represents each case. And then we use the script about 200 to 400. So most of them we started with 200. When we realized that there are not enough papers, we added the test set. As I mentioned, the client did not have enough training papers, so we had to use test set into the training. And then the audit set, as you can see, the first one is 464 papers. They would like us to have the AI fresh mark the paper. And then as you can see here, it's most of them, 8 out of 12 vignettes, are close to 90% accuracy or agreement with the marker. And this is actually before the arbitration. So this can go up if AI is correct over the human markers. And as you can see here, 4 vignettes did not perform and fell below 80%. The reasons were one, because some of the testing topics the candidate did not address very well. So even if we have 200 papers, it does not mean that we will collect 200 training phrases, because sometimes the candidate doesn't even answer anything. If they get 0 mark, that means we can use that for the training. So, and then another reason was sometimes some of the marking is a bit more required judgment than the others. And when it's hard for the markers to mark, it will be hard for the AI to mark. So as a kind of human naked eye, you can't really distinguish right away. That means it will be hard for the AI to mark. So that was a challenge. And at the end, overall, the results was pretty good. So we used 238 papers to train the AI on average, and then we audited the AI with 341 scripts, and then on average we got 85.73% agreement with the human markers. just looking at the client's case, in the live examination setting, I will be honest, there are some challenges still. So the first thing is the data collection issue. So as I mentioned before, we need to pre-mark the student's script in order to get the training data. And sometimes the candidate missing the testing topic, then we will have to mark more than 200 papers to kind of cherry pick those answers. And then it's time-consuming data collection process. So even though AI can mark in 12 seconds once it's built, but before then there is a pre-work to do. And then the annotation part is the subject matter expert is not used to AI training. Even though we create a platform that replicates the marking process, it's slightly different. So when we are marking the papers, we will go through the student's script, and then when the candidate gives us right answer, we probably just skim through the rest, and then marking is done. But AI training, we will have to evaluate every sentence whether it's correct answer or irrelevant sentence. Otherwise, AI would classify it as an irrelevant sentence, so we have to annotate all of them. Lastly, the part is challenging is the transparency. So at the moment, we can give the clients what are the specific sentences and confidence level that AI has in their marking. But sometimes we need to know a little bit more if there is any bias in AI. So AI carries exactly the same bias as a human marking. So if a human has bias, then the AI will also have the bias. So these are the recent studies that we have done and also have a plan in place. So first of all, few-shot learning. This is to reduce the number of training data to perform the AI at the same level as a large amount of data required. So we did research with the University of Toronto, and also we did research with the Toronto Metropolitan University, and we published the paper. So if you're interested, let me know, I can share that with you. This is how we did was, in a nutshell, we used large language model as a kind of pre-trained model, and then fine-tuning them with the domain-specific information. So instead of creating the AI model from the scratch, we use the large language model as a base. So it dramatically reduced the required data at the kind of sample research that we did. So instead of we have like 200 training examples, we needed only 50 or less. So that was a pretty good research that we have done. And then another research that we have in place is the programmatic labeling, meaning that it helps the subject matters to annotate the data. So it pre-annotate the training data. So after a few annotation, AI will figure out what are the possible rules, and then we give the rules yes or no. Then it will annotate the data, so that we don't have to go and manually annotate every single sentences. So the human markers can validate yes or no, this is good or not, and then we can use that for AI training. The last part is the augmented training data. We haven't seen significant results for this one, but what we are trying to do is we use large language model like ChatGPT, and then give one sentence from students' actual response, and then create maybe 1,000 similar sentences, and then use that as a training data. So then we can have maybe 10 training sentences, and then we can train the AI with 1,000 different examples. Okay, speaking about the transparency, we will leverage technology called LIME. LIME is more of an interpreter of AI. So it will give the examples or why AI made certain decisions. So as I mentioned, Blees.ai, we can give specific sentences and then confidence level, but it goes a little bit more deeper and then have non-technical person to understand how AI decision was made. And then the other one is called SHAP. We will be leveraging this technology, and this is AI detective tool. So it will show the relationship between each factors that makes up the decision of AI. So it will give the weights and what are the things that determine the AI decisions. Lastly, this is more of our internal challenge. So Blees.ai is not an expert in designing learning management system. So it's been a bit difficult for subject matter experts to use our platform. So we will be collaborating with the Cirrus Assessment to design end-to-end learning management system with AI marking capability. So designing the fairness principle, thanks to CA Island, they agreed to be part of this project, and they will be providing us the underlying bias in assessment. So we will first consider the problem. So we will see if there is any bias in human marking, whether there is age or gender or their background, as well as the bias in students' script. So when we maybe favor one type of students, the way they say versus the other. So we will consider the problem, and then second, we will collaborate with domain experts. At the moment, we will work with CA Island, but we also will be working with other certification bodies by the bias relevant to that domain, and then we will train the AI and we will evaluate whether there was bias in AI prediction. So I'd like to share a little bit of good news. We are funded by European Union to develop this end-to-end the learning management system with AI capability of automate the essay scoring. So we'll be collaborating with Cirrus and CA Island to create this platform that is easy for our clients to use and useful for in the real production environment. So yeah. Okay, so I will turn it to yeah.
Thank you very much, Sojin. So I have a few minutes to talk a little bit about what my passion is. But before I talk about that, I just want, for those of you who don't know Cirrus, just give a brief overview of what Cirrus Assessment is. It's an end-to-end e-assessment platform, starting with the logistical process of booking exams and organizing exams, going through to item banking, exam creation, exam delivery, marking, and ending in credentialing. So as Sojin mentioned, we're working together with the three parties, Chartered Accountants Ireland, Blees and Cirrus, and making sure that our users get a seamless experience and being able to use the power of AI within the Cirrus platform. And one of the requirements that I had when we started this collaboration was that I wanted it to be extremely easy for users to use. I didn't want to disrupt the way they were doing marking. I just wanted all that technological complexity to happen in the background and not bother the user with all of that complexity. And what you see here on the screen is basically the marking or the scoring module in Cirrus, where you see the candidate scripts. We're able to highlight certain sentences, annotate them, connect them to criteria, and score those criteria. And in the background, while you're doing this, which you would do normally in human marking, in the background, the machine is learning. It's actually, everything you're doing here is being picked up by the machine learning and is starting to learn from your marking behavior. The user doesn't even have to know about that. Probably they are informed, but they don't need to bother with it. And when you have done a sufficient number of scripts, you marked a sufficient number of scripts, the system says, I am sufficiently trained. Do you want me to take over? And that's it. If you accept this, the rest of the scripts will be automatically scored and annotated by the AI. And that was a key requirement for me to not make this complex for the markers, but actually taking work out of their hands, which is what IT is supposed to do, right? To make things more efficient. Yeah, so that's my 5 minutes of slides. I'm very happy to work with a very innovative company as Blees, and I'm very thankful for the European Union to fund this project. And obviously, once this is done, which it will be early next year, this will be available for all of our customers. So, any questions? Yeah.
So when you do human marking, you have all sorts of quality control processes, seeded scripts, double marking, all that sort of thing. How do you quality assure automatically marked scripts? What would you do instead?
Yeah, all of that is in Cirrus already. It's part of the marking module to have double-blind moderation, all of that. So nothing changes. What the AI will do is basically take over the work of individual users. So if I have 2 markers, each individual marker still needs to mark individually. And then with sufficient training, the AI will take over the work for each individual user or marker. So nothing changes in the way they mark. It just takes over at a certain point.
I might not have asked my question well.
Yeah.
So how do you check the scripts that are being marked by the AI? So you check the scripts that have been done by the humans. How do you check the ones that have been done by the AI?
Well, I can add to that. So we can take similar approaches our human marking. So we will look at the samples, whether it's qualifying or not. Also, I think in the human marking, we will look into a little bit more passing grade, so the threshold for passing grade and above and below, so kind of middle part, we will be more looking into it. So then AI can pre-mark the papers and first marking, and then the second marking can be done in the middle, and then they can be arbitrated. So the comparison will be automatically done, and then we will show what are the difference between the human markers and AI, and then designing part in the platform, how easily can see each other's the comparison. That will be a kind of game changing in the platform. So we will, we do have that technology in the back end, but we need to show that in an easy way for the subject matter expert to look at it, and arbitrate.
Was that answer to your
This
question?
answered the question.
Okay, sorry for confusing you. Other question? I see one in the back there.
On the subject of bias, I guess it's half a question, half a thought, but if you're training the system via one senior marker, then you're building in all of the biases potentially of that one human, which I think you've captured. So the alternative is have it trained by 4 senior markers. Do you then just build in 4 people's biases, or do you water down and does it make it better or worse essentially?
Yeah, so that's exactly what we identified. We have like 4 different people, and usually the senior marker who always comes to the marking center, they're the kind of best top people that trained, and then they might have their own bias, and then it will carry, like AI will carry the same bias. So that's why we are doing this research to identify if there is a potential bias in the AI model, and then common potential problems. So we will look at that, and then we will see if that there is a bias, so that we can detect if there is any bias that we don't want it to happen. But yes, you're right. At the moment, if it's only 4 or 5 people training the AI model, if they have their inherent bias, it will carry their bias.
Another question in the back there.
I just had a follow-up comment on that
Oh,
point,
okay.
if that's okay. I guess it's one of those things where the same risks are inherent in both processes. So you need to make sure perhaps that you have that hierarchy or that consultation iterative process before you set a standard. But what I would say about this is at least the bias is being applied consistently. So if you need to correct for it, and you can get remarking done much quicker than you would by retraining and clearing the scripts and getting 100 or more scripts remarked. So
That's a great point.
it's still some of the same issues, but perhaps you can deal with them more effectively.
Yeah, very good point. In the back.
You showed an example of accounting, and I'm curious, you mentioned that you're industry specific. Are there other industries that you've already worked with?
Yes, accounting and finance, and then we worked with law.
Yeah, and I was wondering if you could just share with us, like, your decision tree of doing it that way. You said that we're not doing language learning.
Yes.
Just curious.
Because there is a little bit of difference in background and machine learning. So we are doing classification. So we will do. We are not doing language model because language exams. Because language exams you can be, for example, describe your travel in Paris. It can be like multiple different answers, and then you can't really classify what it is. But if you ask how does Eiffel Tower looks like, then there is a kind of right or wrong answers. So you can classify that. So, and we think that that's where our expertise are, and we wanted to focus on that. So that's that's our.
That makes sense.
I just want to ask you how AI can assess and mark students' unforeseen outcomes and unexpected outcomes in the sense of the critical thinking, the creativity, the innovation students can bring to an essay, for example. Because we're talking about essays, so the standardized test. How AI can assess those unexpected?
Yes, that's actually similar to that question. So we don't do any like how do I say, the soft skill, or is it innovative, or is it creative? We can't really do that in our platform. Although the technology is there. Actually, there is a sentimental the assessment that AI actually can do it. Whether it's is this person gentle enough or ethical enough or anything like that. But our focus is just not there, and our focus is more of domain-specific test.
So, question?
So I guess is the choice that you made there a matter of like not feeling comfortable with the levels of technology for that kind of, for the stakes of those assessments that would be involved, or so like how you make the decision about where it is ready to apply the technology, what stakes you have confidence in?
I guess it's a little bit more personal. I think we have to start somewhere, and I'm chartered accountant, and I used to work in CPA Canada, where accounting exams were marked, and that's where I know the most. So I wanted to start where I know the most, and then if we can do that one, then we can move on to different one. So it doesn't mean that we not doing it like forever. Maybe in 5 years or 10 years, we might do the language essay scoring as well. But at the moment, our focus is where we know the best, and that's where we started. Yeah.
Maybe just what I thought. I don't know. Obviously, in particular, we're in the accountancy field as well. There's a lot of there's the same approach and a process that you might go through, but to an applied scenario. So have you seen anything or thought about how it could apply where maybe you've taught it, it's maybe in a different, it's still the same principles, but it's a different context, it's a different company, it's different numbers and so forth. Does the learning it might have done for a previous iteration of the question speed up what you might do for the next?
Yes, actually we do have different use cases. It's not a marking, but one of our clients is a university researcher. So she's a PhD, and then she's a professor. And then she does go through 500 different proxies to find if this company is sustainable or not. And then if you come across the proxy, it's like 100 pages. And then you have to go through 500 S&P 500 companies, and then she does like 5 years. So that's like a lot of data that she needs to do it. So what we did was exactly the same principle. We highlight, annotate what she's looking for, and then we train the AI, and then we run through all the proxies, and then we identify for her whether it's a 0 or a 1 she's looking for in her research. So yeah, so there are other use cases as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Blees.ai and Cirrus.
Yeah, thanks.